You've done that well. Speaking of the Rams, they travelled to Indianapolis Colts. A narrow win for the Rams, 27-24. I did predict that the Rams would go on the road and beat the Colts. Yeah, and it turned out to be a close game. Again, as I believe you mentioned in week one, Adam, the Matthew Stafford Cooper Kupp connection, very strong connection, and they went again in week two. And that connection opened the scoring for the Rams, 16-yard touchdown. Wentz then, I think it was from his own red zone in the end, absolutely launched one downfield, got the Colts up the field, nice little field goal. And then, Adam, can we talk about what Wentz was doing with that stupid underarm pass? What was he doing?
Yeah, see, you do see quarterbacks attempt that, and the only ones that really do it well are the absolute elite, like your Patrick Mahomes. The only thing I can think of is Carson Wentz was just trying to perform a trick play. There's no reason to make that pass. And of course, we know what happened with it in the end. And I'm thinking, if you can't have an established offense that produces these sort of plays regularly, like the Chiefs do, then it's fully justified. But I just looked at that throw and I was just thinking, and I was despairing. I'm thinking, Carson Wentz, you're not established enough to do that. This is a new offense that's not exactly explosive, and you're coming up against Stafford and the Rams with the defense, bear in mind, of course, of Ramsey, Aaron Donald, and playing and doing that pass. It was bizarre, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, very, very bizarre. I actually put on my notes, what was Wentz doing with three question marks, three exclamation marks?
I like a lot of Indy fans would agree.
Yeah, and in capital letters. To end the half, both teams were just limited to a couple of field goals apiece. Henderson then extended the Rams' lead to 17-6. The Colts came back in fair play to Carson Wentz, obviously learnt from that pathetic pass. Got a touchdown through Zach Pascal. And they went for a 2-point conversion as well, which was luckily converted after a tip. But they did get the 2-point conversion. And then the Rams defense, they had a bit of a shocker as well, which then Colts special team capitalized on, got a touchdown, took the lead. And then we all know the Stafford Kupp connection. If you've got both of them in your fantasy team, it's an absolute dream.
I have in my other league, which is
when they play together, it's an absolute dream. They get points for fun, and then a field goal piece settled the score. Jalen Ramsey, we all know his defensive qualities. He intercepted the Colts and stopped them from regaining a lead and pretty much won the game. It was one of them where the Colts were always sort of chasing the Rams. And fair play, they did get it back in at one point, but you just knew that the Rams they'd go that one step beyond. As we said, Stafford finding Kupp for 2 passing touchdowns. Very solid performance from Stafford as well. 278 passing yards. Cooper Kupp, 11 targets, 9 completed, and received for 163 yards. I've actually written on my notes here as well. It's another great start for the season for the Rams, as much as it sickens me to say that. But yeah, a very, very solid performance.
Yeah, and this is the thing. The difference, I thought last week against the Bears, which of course is a much weaker opposition, I thought that the Rams blitzed them. They looked spectacular. This week they didn't look spectacular. They looked solid. You're going to get games when Matthew Stafford throws the odd interception. The key thing is that he's not throwing multiple interceptions. He's not having your 2-3 interception games, and he threw one but then recovered it. Because he's good enough where more often than not Matthew Stafford will get a lot more passes than, of course, interceptions. So I thought all in, and the Colts done well to fight back. But the Rams, these are games, if you're going to really challenge at the top of your division, not even your mini division, I'm talking about the actual conference, if you're going to be right up there in the NFC, AFC, you need to win games fairly ugly in the end. So you're not going to score 5-6 touchdowns every week. Sometimes you've got to take your 27-24 wins, your 17-14 wins. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's finding a way. And there could be an example where the Rams face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a huge matchup already in week 3. They could play much better and lose. So it shows you how important it is to get these gritty wins bit of a concern from the Colts point of view, because I think 2 tough matchups, admittedly, but I think that getting into playoffs last season with arguably a better quarterback in terms of being younger and fresher than Philip Rivers in Carson Wentz, with a point to prove, starting off 0-2 against teams that you're supposed to be competing with in playoffs, and you're losing to them already. You think, are the Colts just going to be flat track bullies where they only beat teams that are really rubbish, that are going to be like the right bottom of their mini division? So the Colts, as we keep saying, can't rely on that defense every week, and the offense has certainly got to start stepping up and getting more points. They can't just get maximum 3 touchdowns and a field goal and expect to win every week. It just won't work like that.
It doesn't happen. Moving on